In 152 BCE, a Roman senator named Cato traveled to Carthage on a diplomatic mission. He expected to find a city weakened by decades of war. What he found instead terrified him. Carthage was thriving. Its markets overflowed with silver, grain, and silk. Its harbor held 220 warships. Its citizens were, by any measure, wealthier than Rome's. Cato returned to Rome and did something extraordinary. From that day forward, he ended every single speech he gave in the Senate, regardless of the topic, with the same 5 words. Carthago delenda est. Carthage must be destroyed. This is the story of the civilization so powerful, so wealthy, so threatening, that Rome decided the only solution was to erase it from the face of the earth. Carthage was founded in 814 BCE on the northern coast of Africa, in what is today Tunisia. Its name in the Phoenician language meant simply, new city. But there was nothing simple about what it became. For nearly 7 centuries, Carthage was the dominant power of the Western Mediterranean. At its height, it controlled territory stretching from the coast of Spain, across North Africa, through Sicily, and down to the edges of West Africa. Here is the detail that most people miss entirely. At the moment, Rome was still a regional Italian power, fighting its neighbors for survival. Carthage had already built the largest maritime trading empire the ancient world had ever seen. Rome was the newcomer. Carthage was the giant. The story of Carthage's rise begins with geography and one extraordinary insight. The Phoenicians who founded Carthage understood something most civilizations never grasped. You do not need to conquer land to control the world. You need to control the water between the land. Carthage sat at the precise center of the Mediterranean Sea. Every ship traveling between the eastern and western Mediterranean had to pass within reach of Carthage's navy. They did not build walls to keep people out. They built harbors to pull the whole world in. The Chthon, Carthage's legendary harbor, was a feat of engineering that stunned the ancient world. A circular military port surrounded by covered docks, large enough to hide an entire fleet from enemy eyes. 220 ships, all concealed, all ready, and their economic system was equally ingenious. Carthage did not trade with the world. Carthage taxed the world. Every ship passing through Carthaginian waters paid a toll. Every colony in their network sent tribute. Every piece of silver mined in Spain flowed through Carthage first. By the 6th century BCE, Carthage had surpassed even its Phoenician ancestors. It was not just rich. It was the richest city in the entire Mediterranean. By the 4th century BCE, Carthage controlled a population of nearly 500,000 people, roughly the size of modern Washington, D.C., but in the ancient world. Their achievements were extraordinary and largely unknown. Carthage minted its own gold and silver coins, one of the first civilizations in the Western Mediterranean to do so. Their coinage depicted the goddess Tanit and the sacred horse, symbols that spread Carthaginian culture across 3 continents. They established a written agricultural manual by a writer named Mago, so advanced that after Rome destroyed Carthage, they translated it into Latin and kept it as a treasure. The Romans destroyed everything else, but they saved the farming manual. And then there was Hanno, the navigator. Around 500 BCE, Hanno led a fleet of 60 ships, and 30,000 people out through the Strait of Gibraltar and sailed down the coast of West Africa. He reached what scholars believe was modern-day Cameroon, or Gabon. 2,000 years before European explorers would call this the Age of Discovery. But the detailed history books almost never mention. Carthage was a republic, not a monarchy, not a dictatorship. A republic with 2 elected heads of state, called suffetes, a senate, and a popular assembly. The Romans modeled parts of their own constitution on Carthage's system. Aristotle called it one of the best governed states in the world. In 146 BCE, after a 3-year siege, Rome entered Carthage. What happened next took 17 days. The Romans burned the city block by block, every building, every archive, every temple. The entire population, estimated at 150,000 people, was sold into slavery. And then the ground itself was plowed under. Punic, the salt myth that Rome salted the earth so nothing would ever grow, is probably legend. But here is what is not legend. Rome went out of its way to erase every trace of Carthage's existence from history. They destroyed the libraries. They burned the records. They told the story, from that point forward, entirely from Rome's perspective. And yet, Carthage survived. Partly. Mago's agricultural manual was copied and preserved. Carthaginian trading routes became the foundation of Roman commerce. The Carthaginian alphabet, inherited from Phoenicia, is the direct ancestor of the Latin alphabet, which became the alphabet you are reading these words in right now. 3 things Carthage teaches us that still apply today. 1. Wealth without narrative is invisible. Carthage was arguably richer and better governed than Rome. But Rome wrote the history books. The lesson? The story you tell about yourself matters as much as what you actually build. In business, in life, whoever controls the narrative controls the legacy. 2. Your greatest strength can become your greatest weakness. Carthage's wealth came from hiring mercenaries instead of building a citizen army. When the money ran low, the soldiers went home. Outsourcing your most critical functions to people with no loyalty is a risk that has not changed in 2,000 years. 3. Recovery is not the same as safety. Carthage survived the Second Punic War. It rebuilt its economy. It repaid its debt. It thrived again. And that recovery is precisely what got it destroyed. When you are competing with someone who views your existence as a threat, being impressive is not enough. You have to make them believe you are not a threat. Carthage never learned how to do that. Here is what I want to leave you with. It is to 6. Carthage has been gone for 2 years. And yet, the alphabet you learned as a child traces a direct line back to Carthage, the trade networks that shaped the modern Mediterranean economy. Carthage built the template, and somewhere in Tunisia, archaeologists are still digging through the ruins, still finding things Rome could not erase. Rome called Carthage its greatest enemy. But what if Carthage was actually its greatest teacher? Tell me in the comments. If Hannibal had received his reinforcements in 216 BCE, do you think Carthage would have won? I will pin the most interesting answer. Subscribe prompt. Next episode, The African Empire Greater Than Rome, Aksumite Kingdom, teaser, like, plus, share prompt.